Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back. Callan here with Droid Life. So I've got in front of me Google Clips. Haven't heard of Google Clips? Yeah, Google Clips is new. It's Google's first little smart camera. Now, the idea behind it is that you take it into situations where you're like hanging out with your kid or your pet or friends, and you just kind of plop this thing down nearby, and it hopefully takes pictures and little animated videos or clips of you, and then you can go back and look at them later, but you lived in the moment, and then it captures all of the magic for you, if that makes sense. I know there's probably some privacy concerns there, and we'll talk about that in just a minute, but we wanted to dive into this little guy because it is a first attempt at sort of a new category for Google. It's also not cheap, so I'm sure if you were considering it and you know what it is, you probably kind of want to hear some thoughts. So let's talk about that. Here's our first look at Google Clips. All right, so to talk a little bit further about what this is, again, it's just sort of a drop someplace and let it do its own magic smart camera. And that's sort of the idea. It's got all this sort of AI tech or whatever you want to call it, where it tries to capture based off if it sees faces or pets or moving objects or whatever. It tries to just do everything without you having to do anything, if that makes sense. It is steeply priced. It costs $250. You can get it at the Google Store, Best Buy, B&H Photo. There's a handful of places out there that sell it, and there is only one model, and this is it, and this is how big it is. What you've got is a 130-degree wide-angle lens with an f2.4 aperture. It's capable of shooting up to 15 frames per second, has 16 gig storage on board, USB Type-C port on the bottom for charging it. And that's pretty much it. It does connect over Wi-Fi, so you can transfer stuff to your phone pretty quickly once it captures it. There is a companion app, which I'll show you in just a second. And that's kind of what you've got here. You do have a shutter button right here. So while this does most of the magic on its own, it does have its own little shutter button there in case you want to snap some photos manually and you're in that moment. But again, the idea is to set it places. To turn it off and on, you actually just twist. I don't know if you can really see that. We'll get you a close up there. See this little line? It's actually in the off position. You just turn it over here up top, and that turns it on. And so that's how you turn it off and on. Just a little dial twist there. So you can turn it off, so it's not like constantly recording. The other thing to keep in mind is it doesn't record any sound. So even if you just have this sitting around somewhere, it's not ever recording you. I don't believe there's a microphone. I mean, I can't see one, and Google says it doesn't record sound. So there's no sound. It does record things, but they only are stored on here. You can view them on your phone through an app, which I'll show you, and they never really go anywhere else unless you want them to. So I know the privacy thing here is something, but anyway, so just a little flip there on, off. But I want to show you what else is in the box just so you guys can see the whole package here. So the camera was there. This isn't like a proper unboxing. You do have guides, of course. Inside, though, they include this little clip. So it's called Google Clips, number one, because it just records little clips, but also probably because you can clip it places. So with this little guy, you just toss it in this little sort of silicone-y case, and then you can clip it on things. So you can clip it on chairs, cribs, whatever you want. This thing also acts as a stand. So if you want to just set it somewhere, which is kind of what I've done in the first 24 hours using it, is just set it somewhere like that. And you could flip this upside down too. But anyway, so it comes with this little thing. So there's your clip for your clips. Then also in the box, they do give you a USB-C cable for charging and whatnot. So anyways, let's show you the app here, because this is where the experience really sort of comes to life. So I've got the Clips app here. You can see I've got some clips in here, like my kid and my cat, and there's me just playing around. So where the magic happens is, well, you turn this on. I mean, there's like a pairing process and all of that fun stuff. But you turn it on, you can see it immediately knows that I'm connected and that I want to do stuff. So you can actually go to a live preview of it if you're just holding the app, and you can see it's now recording the screen or the ceiling above me. So you can do that. And then there's actually like a manual button that you can tap, and it'll start capturing things. It shows you orientation. So I don't know if you can see me. I'm twisting that, and the camera's actually twisting around. So it is actually showing me orientation constantly, which is kind of cool. It does keep track of that, and it's like in real time. It's actually pretty fast. So if I show you the app, though, there's a handful of things going on here. So you've got up top, it tells you if the camera is capturing at the moment, if you're connected and it's turned on, and I will show you if we turn it off. it immediately just says it's connected, but it's not capturing anything. It's kind of confusing, and I'm sure some people are going to be weirded out by it, but it does say connected, even though it's off, but you can see it's not able to capture anything. There's no live preview. It's not taking pictures, that sort of thing. It does show you the battery percentage of it up here, and over here it shows you the percent of storage that's being used. Then there are some settings. So this stuff's worth talking about. So you can save motion photos, videos, or animated GIFs. Yes, I say GIF. So you can decide what you want it to capture when it's capturing these clips. If we go back, you can adjust video quality as well, and that's actually turned down out of the box. I turned it up to high just to get the best video I could. There's an autosave feature. So I mentioned that it doesn't actually save anything initially, it just stores it on the camera and asks you if you want to save it later. You can have it autosave though. I don't know if you want to do that, you're probably going to fill up some storage pretty quickly. You can adjust a capture rate for how often it's actually capturing clips. And then there's some other stuff like familiar faces, which actually allows you to attach it to, say, your Google Photos account. And then it'll scan all the faces in Google Photos so that hopefully it recognizes people when they come to your house. Now, this is where it gets a little bit creepy, but like say your mom or your dad or your wife or your kid are in there and it recognizes them from Google Photos, it'll try to make sure it captures them when they, walk in front of it and look at it or whatnot. So you can obviously remove the camera there too. So let's show you how it works though. So like here is one of me. So it shows you an animated action of whatever was going on in there, which you can see. From there, I can save it, edit it, or delete it. There's also quicker ways. Like if I swipe this way, you can see it says save clip. Or if I want to delete something, I swipe that way to delete it. If you have a whole bunch of clips, like let's say this thing's been out there recording for a couple of hours, and the battery life, by the way, is up to about 3 hours while recording constantly. So it can last quite a while. You just have to remember to plug it in for the next day or whatever. But let's say it's got a whole bunch of stuff. There's actually this blue button down here. And if you tap that, it shows you that there are suggested clips that it's captured. So again, if you set this thing for like 2 hours, it may capture who knows how much stuff, but it will suggest ones that it thinks are, the best, clearest, whatever. You can save all of them, go just to save those or delete, save those suggested ones or delete everything if you just thought you like mistakenly left it on and want to delete everything. So you can do that. But if we go in and tap on something like, here's my cat. So I can edit, and from within the editor, you can actually like scroll around until you find like, say maybe a frame you want, and then you can click save. And that will then save into Google Photos. So now that photo is saved to my Google Photos library. And this does attach to Google Photos. So if you don't want to do that, you could also adjust animation. So you can scroll this around until you can crop it down to what you want. And then it'll just create an animated GIF or video or a motion photo of whatever you've got here. And you can also even drag this around to really crop it up if you want to. So let's just do that. Let's even shorten it up some. And then you click save. And this is where you get to choose motion photo, video, or animated GIF. Let's just make an animated GIF for fun. So it'll then save that, again, to your Google Photos, and then you can go in there and view that. Same thing with motion photos, videos, and all that stuff. So that's kind of the basics of how this whole thing works. Now you can see like my kid picked it up earlier or last night, was playing with it. I also had him just recording some stuff while he was monkeying around like in the house, and him and I were just playing with it. I grabbed some stuff of my cats because they're always fun. So like it's one of those things where you set someplace and you hopefully you've got it in the right place and it's capturing everything. I do feel like you constantly have to move it into a new place to make sure it is it's capturing what you want it to capture. So you kind of have to be aware of it, but at the same time, I don't have to hold my phone the whole time. Image and video quality is okay. Like I said, I ramped it up to high quality and it's capturing some decent stuff with some decent lighting. Most of these things are fine. And like the stuff with my kid playing with it is all pretty fun. Like here he was just like swinging it around and it was like capturing both him and I. So it's kind of a clever little tool. Is it $250 clever? I don't actually know the answer to that yet. I'll play with it more. I'll see if it'll become like a part of my life. So far, I think it's one of those things I'm just going to set around and hopefully we'll just turn it on here and there and it captures some fun stuff. But that's kind of it. It's Google Clips, and it's like a first version that Google is working on constantly. I'd imagine it's going to get updates, and they'll try to improve that camera as much as they can via software and things like that. And so I don't know. I would say like stay tuned on this one. I don't know that everyone should rush out and buy this unless you're just a tech early adopter. But for those who are, it's probably a fun little toy to keep in the bag, or take on trips, or just leave around your house. For the rest of you, you may want to just see where it goes. See if it even sticks around, if Google creates a new version, if there's some magic update that makes things even better or not. But anyways, just been a first look at Google Clips. You guys have comments, questions about it, let me know, and I can certainly update you on what's going on here. We're Droid Life. Peace.